Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on Metronic. In this video, we will go through with you on Metronic's latest Webpack installation. So first, what we need to do is you first need to purchase and download Metronic, and once you've done that, unzip the package file and it may look something like this. But once you have this ready in your folder, what you have to do is look into the root folder and you'll be greeted by three main folders, which is the design, docs, and theme. Design is where we keep our design files, which is our PSD and Sketch. Docs file is where the official documentation file sits, and the theme is where three of Metronic's packages sits as well, which is the Angular, Classic, and Default. If you need more info on either one of this package, you can view on our previous video on Metronic packages. So the first thing we need to do here is we need to go through into the official documentation folder and go to the docs.html. And if you double click that, you'll see the gulp quick start step by step. And what we need to look here is actually the Webpack installation method. So you click on that and we see the Webpack quick start step by step. And the first thing here is we need to get the Metronic from the marketplace, which is imported, and we need to download and install Node.js. If you already have Node.js installed, we recommend you to double check if your version is up to date. If not, please re-download the latest version of Node.js and install it on your computer. And after that, we will then start writing commands into our default /tools folder. And where that is located is in the root. You go to theme, you go to default, you go to tools. This is where we will start writing our commands in our command prompt or terminal. So we need to open up a command prompt by typing in cmd. And first thing we need to do is we need to install the latest npm and the latest yarn. If you already have npm and yarn installed on a computer, you can actually skip this step, but it's also good to just run it to make sure that your npm and yarn is up to date. Right, let's go ahead and install yarn, or for us we'll be updating yarn. And once that's done, you will then need to run yarn. And what this does is it just installs all of Metronic's third-party dependencies. I'll let this run for a bit. I'll fast forward this video and we'll be back once it's done. Okay, yarn is done installing all of Metronic's third-party dependencies. The next thing we need to do is to run the npm build. And what this does, it just creates all of Metronic's demo files and folders in a dist folder within Metronic default. So at the moment, Metronic defaults, the default package has no dist folder. And let's go ahead and run npm run build. Alright, this is done. As you can see, the dist folder just popped up, and if you go into the dist folder, you see all of Metronic's demos and the assets folder where all our CSS, JS, media, and vendor files sit. So essentially, this is all it needs to do to build our demos, and we can always run a localhost environment by typing in npm run localhost. We should then set up the Webpack localhost environment, and you'll be greeted with this screen. And this screen is just basically shows all of Metronic's demos listed from 1 to 12, and also the assets folder, but we can ignore that for now. So to view demo 1, just click on demo 1, and Metronic is now fully installed and working using Webpack. However, this is not the end of this video. We will have a lot more to go through, because with Webpack we have multiple build options. To look for all the build options, you can just go to the official documentation and then go to our build tools and click on Webpack. and we see the all the build commands and options for Webpack. So we'll go through one by one what all these options and commands are. So the first one we already done that, or we already know what it does, which is the npm run build, which is to basically deploy the official Metronic demos. npm run watch is basically to watch any changes within the SAS or JS files within Metronic source and just compile it whenever there's a change. And npm run localhost, which is what we've just seen. It just deploys a localhost environment for Metronic. And now comes all the options. We have a demo, RTL, prod, CSS, and JS options. And how you attach these options is you just put in the dash dash the end parameter, which is either demo or RTL or whatever. And each parameter will have its own options or not. For example, a dash dash demo parameter will have a option for you to add or declare whether you want to build the demo 1 or demo 2 or demo 3 or so on, so that instead of building the entire list of demos from demo 1 to 12, maybe we just need to deploy demo 1 and that's it. So we type in like demo dash dash demo equals demo 1 and we'll only build demo 1. So let's go ahead and test that. So what we did in our terminal or our command prompt previously is we did a default npm run build. So that basically built all of Metronic's demos. Let's go ahead and delete this folder and stop our localhost by holding Control with C. Just press it twice or a few times, and then it just terminates the batch drop, and you see the path. So that basically means your localhost environment is down or off. And what you're going to do here is you're going to type in npm run build dash dash demo and only demo 1, because let's say we just want to build demo 1. Alright, another reason why you may want to only build specific demos that you need for your project is because when you compile or when you build a single demo, it will take a lot shorter time compared to building all 12 demos. So you can see it's completed within 11.9 seconds, and when we did the full build, it basically got completed with 48.8 seconds. Now let's look into our dist, and we only see demo 1 and then the assets basically, and that's all we have. So this is how we use the demo parameter. You can actually have more than one demo to be built simultaneously. Instead of running the default, which is just npm run build, we can do npm run build dash dash demo equals demo 1, and I put a comma to separate between the demos that you want to build. So we can put demo 1 or demo 3, comma, demo 5, and so on. So if you want to build more than one demo at a time, but you do not want to build all 12 at a time, then this is one of the options that you can use within Metronic's Webpack installation. Next, we'll go through is the RTL build. So if you look into our editor and we look into our theme, go to default and we go to dist, and we go to demo 1. Maybe not. We go to assets, we go to CSS. If you look here, we have our CSS bundle and JS bundle, but we do not have an RTL version. So if you want to have an RTL version, we just have to run this command or this additional parameter within the build command. So demonstrate that, let's go ahead again, delete our dist folder so that we could rebuild it, and remove all that and type in RTL and enter. What this does is it's going to run Metronic's run command or run build command basically, and it will build all 12 Metronic demos, but it will also include Metronic's RTL CSS versions of each demo. Okay, so let's have a look into our editor. And if you go to dist, go to demo 1. Let's go to assets and we go to CSS, we go to demo 1. And you can see here our RTL CSS version. Go to our demo 2, also we see in RTL, demo 5, and so on and so forth. So this is the option where you can deploy RTL versions for your project. Another thing that we want to showcase to you guys is you can actually merge two parameters within one command line by just putting a space between the command or the parameters rather. So for this instance, let's delete this again so that we can rebuild it. So for this instance, let's try to do a RTL build, but only for demo 1, for example. So you can go ahead and npm run run build -- demo equals demo 1 because we only want to build demo 1, and then we put a space and then -- RTL. So what this does is going to build only demo 1, but with the RTL version included. Okay, that's done. Let's look into our editor and open up our this. Let's close this and open our dist again. Go to assets, to CSS, and as you can see here, we only have demo 1 with the RTL CSS included. Alright, so now let's do a quick reset of our build by deleting the dist folder and going into our terminal and rebuilding demo 1 just so that we can demonstrate the next parameter, which is the prod. What prod does is it minifies all of your assets for your production deployment. So if your project is done, completed, and you want to deploy to your production server or your live server, just run this command and it will minify all of your assets, which is your CSS and JS files. So what I'm demonstrating here is I'm building demo 1 using the default way without the prod parameter. So if you look into our editor and you go to our dist and assets and CSS and demo 1, we see our CSS files are still not minified, it's still like in a standard view. Our JS files is similar, it's still in a standard view. Same goes with our script bundle, which is also all in a normal view. So let's go ahead and rebuild it the same demo 1, but using the production or prod command. So let's go ahead and do this. npm run build demo 1 with a -- prod and then enter. Alright, it's done, and as you can see here, it actually refreshed itself because it is the same file that we are looking to open. We go to our assets, CSS, and we go to our bundle. We see everything is all minified. Same with our styles, our JS bundle for styles. If you go to our script bundle, everything's bundled up. We go to pages, go to any one of it, and it's all bundled up. You can use this to basically deploy your project to your production server by minifying all your files. Alright, so next, let's have a look. What do we have? We have a CSS and a JS parameter or option. So what this does is, by default, the CSS and JS files are being built. So if you do a CSS -- equals false like this, it just basically excludes the CSS files from being compiled or built. So let's go ahead and again delete our this folder so we can rebuild the project or the demo. And then what we do here is we do a quick npm run build demo1, and then put a css equals false, and let that run. Look into our IDE, and then we close this and wait for it to finish. Terminal. It is done, and if we go to dist, there's a demo1. Oh, sorry, we go to assets, we go to CSS, and within demo1, as you can see, there is no longer any CSS file. And if you go into any of our pages, you can see all of, say, our pages like FAQ, we do not have any CSS file being built or compiled. So that is basically how the CSS option works. And similarly with JS, we have a --JS equals false to basically set, basically to control the npm run build command to not compile and deploy all of the JS files. So let's go ahead and try that. Let's delete out this folder again so that we can rebuild the demos. So let's go ahead and npm run build --demo equals demo1 and -js equals false. Okay, so let's look into our editor. Go to our dist assets, and if you notice immediately, we do not have a JS folder anymore. That's because we're not compiling and deploying the JS files. If you go within the CSS bundle or our JS bundle for styles is also now gone. Go to our error page. As you can see, there's no longer a JS file for the error pages. So this is essentially how you can use Metronic's build command options, where you can just append different parameters one on top of one another to sort of modify your build. And next we'll talk about the build config, which is where you can configure and set or customize your Webpack deployment. So it is located within the tools/Webpack. So if you look into our IDE or editor, let's close it out this, we go to tools, we go to Webpack. And then in Webpack we have all this like two folders here, which is the demos and the vendors. So the demos is where all the demo script and JS, script and style.js for Webpack sits. So in, like, for example, in demo1, the first line is require scripts. So basically it's doing this right here, and it's adding a demo script, which is the layout.js. Similarly with styles, we're just requiring the style class file, and that's basically what's needed within demo1. So if you look at demo2, it's similar, but instead of the layout one for demo1, it's using demo2's layout, and for the style, again, it's using for demo2's style. Same goes for the rest, and so on. In vendors, we have our custom, which is all of our custom third-party plugins, such as the data tables, Go Maps, Full Calendar, and so on. So if you look into our Full Calendar, for example, we see all the files, all the dependencies, or the plugin files that needs to be required within the project, and also all these commands here to declare it. And one thing to note is actually this our commented line here. What this does is, or what this indicates is, basically all of this third-party JS files or CSS files, it will be bundled up and deployed into this output path. So for example, we have a full calendar here, right? So what this does is it's going to bundle up all the CSS and bundle up all the JS files into its own individual bundle and push into this file location within the dist folder. So let's look into the dist folder. Let's look into assets, close CSS, you open up vendors, and if you look into custom and then full calendar, we see our full calendar bundle.css. Now we do not have a JS file simply because if you remember we did this command where the JS is false. So let's go ahead and reset that by deleting the dist folder again and running our build now without that additional parameter. Okay, so let's go ahead and look into our editor again, and we go into our dist, go to our assets, go to our vendors and custom and a full calendar, and we can see both CSS and JS files. So it doesn't matter, you don't have to declare what is a style and what is a script. It's all automatically deployed in its own individual bundle file. So there is one more what do you call it, one more comment or one line that we have to show, which is, let's look into, let's go like this JS tree. We have another thing called images, where it will push all of these plugins images or like image dependencies into this location. So if you look into our dist again, it goes to our assets and then media and then vendors, and I can see here the JS tree, which is this required PNG. So if you can look into our official documentation here again, the output basically specifies where the output file is after it's bundling the CSS, the styles or the scripts, and an image. And what image does is just a optional path on where you want to push the image into the build. Now, to add a new plugin within a Metronic or within your project that's using Metronic is actually fairly easy with Webpack. First, we need to understand the plugin that you want to include into your project with Metronic. You need to define whether your plugin needs to be a global plugin where it needs to be used for all of your pages within your project, or you only need it to be deployed like in a specific location. So if you want it to be a global dependent file, what you need to do is you just have to go into the Webpack folder, and then let's close all this and go into vendors and go to global, and in global you can see all of the global third-party plugins that's being included within Metronic. So if you want to include your very own plugin, all you have to do is just say this is called my plugin, and you just put a require and whatever you want. Basically require to the location, the path location of your plugin that you want to include. The plugin can of course come from multiple locations. It can come from, say, just a regular download or somewhere from GitHub where you can just download the zip file or the package file and zip it somewhere and then include it into one of the folders within your project, and then you just have to send the path here. Or what you could also do is you can use yarn to add the package, like just running the yarn add package. So it looks like this. Basically you type in yarn and then add and then the package name, and then what you do after that is you need to locate that package file within the node modules and then add it into the required path. Now keep in mind that some of the packages require you to sort of initialize it. To do that, you can just type in window dot and then the plugin name equals require and then the plugin name. For example, if you look into our global.js file, you can see a few things different, which you can see row box list is required like that or initialized like this. Scroll a little bit, you can see our wnum is also initialized like this. And then when it comes to CSS files, you can do the simple require command or require method. Just type in require and then the path to your CSS, something like that. This would be, let's say, path /2 / file name.css. And that is basically how you can add a new plugin into the global bundle. Now, how do you add additional plugins into Webpack or into your project via Webpack that doesn't need to be global? So what you can do is, if you look into our customs folder or our vendor's custom, you can just add a new JS file. Like, say, you can create a new file called, say, myplugin.js, and in here you need to just like copy like one of the Metronic's examples, like copy, put it here, and then switch or replace the path of your new plugin CSS file to the path, and also replace this with the correct name of your plugin. And also, of course, you need to replace this. Instead of this name, you can change it to your plugin's name, and then you can name your plugin bundle. What this does is it will deploy your bundles into this path within the dist folder. Alright, and then the last but not least is how the Webpack config structure works. So if we've looked into it, but let's review it again. So if you look into the Webpack folder, we have our demo and vendor folders, and then we have a demo and script JS files. So if you look here, our demo folders is where we keep all of our entry files for each demo. Vendors is what you can see, like the global vendors, vendor files, and the custom ones. And within this, you have also this thing called demo.js and script.js. And what these two are, it basically demos just lists all of Metronic's demos, demo 1, demo 12. And scripts is basically Metronic's core scripts that are included into Metronic for Metronic to work. Things like our KTutil, or basically Metronic's utility script, our app, our avatar, and so on and so forth. And also we have other layout scripts like our chat or our demo panel or our off-canvas panels and so on. Alright, and I guess this is the end of this video. I hope you found this video informative. If you like it, please give us a like, and also please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that the next video that we release, you will get an update. Please also follow us on our social media, such as our Twitter, Facebook, and so on. Links will be in the description below. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.